Oh, was that too loud? Did I blast your ears? Audio podcast listeners. And we're off. It is. Am I live on Odyssey? Yes. Am I live on Facebook? I think I am. Looks like it. It is Thursday, December 8th, 2022 AD, 9:01 a.m. U.S. Pacific Standard Time here in Los Angeles. And we're going to have a fun loosey-goosey Thursday show. I'm just calling them all loosey-goosey right now. Guys, my YouTube stream and my YouTube video yesterday, the clip about Kanye saying, what's the Christian way to say, forget Instagram, or F-word Instagram? Pray for Instagram. Well, that was taken down. And I don't know exactly why. I heard a rumor, and I don't know if it's true, that all things Kanye, all clips Kanye, are taken down unless the host disavows anti-Semitism, which, of course, I disavow that thing that does not exist. But don't hate Jews, guys. Don't be mad. So you can find it on Rumble, not Cozy, Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute, or other alternative platforms, including audio podcasts, unless the audio podcast gets taken down. Spotify has censored certain Hake Report episodes. But anyway, we'll cover arrested for ethnic intimidation in America. It's happened. It happened. I'm okay with intimidation, I guess, being a crime. It's called a felony. But ethnic intimidation? I'm sorry, I thought this was America. The New York Slimes strike, which I didn't get into sufficiently for Hake News. I'll cover it for you guys here on the Hake Report, as well as Peru, their first female so-called president. I know nothing about her, but I'll give you the little report from the far-left females at the Skim, the lovely ladies. And I use the term lovely and ladies loosely. And a mask fight. Hold me back! Hold me back! And some other items. All that and your calls, including, as well, the archive super chats from all those months that Hake was out. What a mess. But anyway, guys, let's get right on with the show!
Have you been naughty or nice?
It's the Hake Report, the Hake Report. La, la, la. It's the Hake Report, the Hake Report. La, la, la.
Hey, guys!
It's the Hake Report, the Hake Report. La, la, la. It's the Hake Report, the Hake Report. La, la, la.
So, how y'all doing? I am fine. As I point to the camera, some of my former regular viewers have liked it and or hated it. I feel like your girlfriend used to say, oh, I like that because it feels like the Hake is including me as the viewer. I feel like she might have said that. He or she. We don't know who your girlfriend is. And I remember that guy who used to call in drunk. He's all, day drinkers unite. Don't do that, kids. Used to be like, hey, get your own thing. You're pointing at the camera just like Bill O'Reilly. Yes, I am. I stole that from Bill O'Reilly. Indeed. And Flaming Fred, the professional victim, says, hey, since you asked so nicely, I changed it. Well, thank you, man. Flaming that's acceptable, I suppose. But you're implying that he's not morally straight, and we don't know that. Don't do that. It feels sort of defamatory. And yes, on the Hake Report, that is considered defamation. I've heard in courts where, like, some guy tried to sue because somebody said that he was some alternative lifestyle, and the judge, being an SJW liberal, was like, that's not defamation because that's not a negative thing to be. What a shame, huh? How far the country, the courts have fallen. And speaking of that, let me dive right into this story of what's happening in America. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was America. It's not America? Arrested for ethnic intimidation in America. Well, what he was doing might not have been. It certainly didn't seem wise at all. Seemed like it came from a place of evil. A place. It's a liberal word. From a place of, or a woman word. Came from a spirit of evil, of anger. This was a tip, hat tip to the tipper in the YouTube comments, Fentanyl Floyd, 5558. And I disavow that username too. It's a reference to Georgia, Florida. This is from Stop Anti-Semites, December 2nd. And I have some tweets and pictures and screenshots and clips, a few clips. So I'm going to try to plow through this, guys, for you. Guys. December 2nd, tweet. Horrifying! While Jewish parents were dropping off their kids at Temple Beth El daycare in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, earlier this morning, December 2nd, a man in the white van outrageously screams, F-blip the Jews and F-blip Israel while driving by. And if you look at the picture in there, if you're watching the video feed, and this tweet looks like it was edited. It says last edited 8:48 a.m. December 2nd. Huh. Tweets can be edited now? Thank you, Elon. Or no thank you, Elon Musk. I don't know what that means. But anyway, if you look at the photograph seen here, this man in a white van. Cover your ears, kids. Rape van. Sorry, kids. I didn't give you sufficient time to cover your ears. Parents, I apologize. I've censored it, but I put a red bar over it. He's sticking up his middle finger. Don't do that, kids. Or adults. And somebody took a photo of it. A Jewish person said, "Oh, look at this beautiful photo. Look at these beautiful woods off the side of the road. Let me take a picture of this. Oh, there's an anti-Semite sticking up his middle finger at me. A vulgar gesture. A rude gesture." So Stop Anti-Semites on Twitter also tweeted, update. Hassan Chokr, 35-year-old Hassan Yahia. Oh no, Hassan Yahia Chokr, Chokr, has been arrested and charged with 2 felony county. And I left that in. They meant counts of ethnic intimidation. I'd never heard of that word before, or that term. At least not in America. I feel like maybe I've heard it in UK, in clips from UK. After his home was or racial abuse, they use the word racial abuse. After his home was searched and social media posts were shared with authorities of Chokr's intent to purchase a firearm. He is currently being housed at the Oakland County Jail. So here's the clip 11. Clip 11, guys. Listen to this clip. It's from YouTube. This was the link that Fentanyl Floyd 5558 shared. Man charged with ethnic intimidation goes off on Oakland County judge, Oakland, Michigan, I guess, Oakland County, Michigan. During the hearing, this is from YouTube channel, click on Detroit, Local 4, WDIV. About a 3-minute long report. Listen to this.
We're going to begin at 5 with a Dearborn man facing ethnic intimidation charges for going on an anti-Semitic and racist rant outside an Oakland County synagogue. Glad you're with us on this Monday at 5. Today, 35-year-old Hassan Chokr appeared in court and went off on the judge as he was arraigned on a number of charges stemming from the incident at Temple Bethel.
Chokr was given $1 million bond and a long string of restrictions if he's able to post it. Rod Maloney live at Temple Bethel tonight. Rod, so as the judge read those restrictions is when he went off.
Yes, and it was interesting to see what and where he went off. You'd be thinking that $1 million bond would get your attention, but it was something else that got that. We'll see that in a second. But as you can well imagine, security out here is very tight. They're deeply concerned out here at Temple Bethel about this incident that happened on Friday, but there has been drama all weekend that brought us to this. Chokr is under $1 million cash bond, which he doesn't have. Yet it was losing social media privileges setting him off.
Including but not limited to Instagram. You may not use or possess any weapon or firearm. There's to be no...
Charged with 2 felony counts of ethnic intimidation, Chokr claims that his arrest violates his freedom of speech, screaming,
"The way you're judging me, God's gonna judge you the same way."
Mr. Chokr, you're not helping yourself.
I don't care.
Chokr took and posted video of himself screaming at people at Temple Bethel whether they support Israel and shouting, "Shame on you." Later, he recorded a Bloomfield Township police stop when the incident ended up reported. Temple Bethel Rabbi Mark Miller told Local 4.
This was terrorizing for a lot of us, for those who were here.
The traffic stop video showed up on social media, giving many, including the rabbi, pause as to why he wasn't arrested then.
He said on video to the police officers, "I'm going to another synagogue." So it felt very threatening, and I guess I can't comment on how they work behind the scenes, but it looked very bad.
Bloomfield Township Police Chief John Gallagher told Local 4 these cases are tough to prove.
At the time, we did not have the information to meet the threshold of the ethnic intimidation that we, at that time, we needed to further that investigation, and part of that is making sure we positively identify the subject that was driving that van.
Crazy, huh?
Now, Bloomfield Township Police are stepping up their patrols of not only this synagogue, but others and other facilities in the area to make sure something like this doesn't happen again anytime soon. There's so much to this story. For instance, it was Dearborn police who actually picked up Chokr. They did that Saturday morning, brought him here Sunday. He was brought to the Oakland County Jail where he remains tonight. Chokr returns to court in 2 weeks. Reporting live in Bloomfield Township, Rod Maloney, Local 4.
Story we will continue to follow. Rod, thank you.
And we will continue to follow it. I'm sure you will. Why is the media so interested in words? Words. Drama. Well, I guess we're all interested in drama. But it's not, to me, it's not that important of a story. But it is interesting in the terms of human interest. And I agree with JLP's message about anger. And also on a First Amendment type of thing. The guy has a point about the First Amendment. This hate crime stuff, ethnic intimidation, is that considered part of a hate crime? It seems like it. Because I could understand intimidation. But about ethnic intimidation, why do you have to add that thing to it? To me, I think that's extra punishment. Feels like extra punishment, because it is, I'm pretty sure, for not drama, hate content. Yes. Content. Drama is content. What was I saying? You know, it's a violation of the First Amendment, these hate crime things. Punching a person is bad, right? Or threatening them, or bothering them. Disturbing the peace. You know, I think I like that disturbing the peace thing sometimes. You know, that arrest this man, he's disturbing the peace. But we have like a corrupt government that says, oh, you can't, if you say the N-word while punching someone, that's extra punishment, meaning they're violating your freedom of speech. You have the freedom of speech to say the N-word or to say vulgar state. I mean, you shouldn't be cussing in public, but it's not about cussing in public. It's about hate, ethnic intimidation, hate speech. Hate crimes. What a mess. You guys get my point? I've made this point many times before. So his last name is pronounced, according to these people, Chokr. Chokr. Chokr, like Tupac Shakur, Shakur, even though it's spelled Chokr. I was pronouncing it Choker. And I was pronouncing it Hassan, like our Hassan. But no, this is the good Hassan, the man over here in the board, operating the board. But this is a bad Hassan. Hassan. And the rabbi, he was playing kind of, I'm starting to get this sense, and I don't know if it's an accurate sense. I feel like it is, that a lot of these people who play on this notion of anti-Semitism, they play a sort of a good cop, bad cop thing, whether they're intending to do it or not. It feels like the rabbi wasn't even really playing good cop. I didn't catch it when it was playing, but I caught it when I first played the clip for myself when I was preparing for the show yesterday. He used the word terrorize. Oh no, terrorism, terrorized? And that's terrorism, right? Was that terrorism that guy was doing? Was it political violence? If he made a threat, I guess you could call that an act of threat of violence. I don't know if he actually made threats. I didn't hear the actual threats that he allegedly said. That this person, they call him a man. I don't necessarily call him a man. I might call him crazy with anger. But I don't know what he actually... But anyway, they may have been terrified, but they weren't. It wasn't necessarily terrorism. You know, so certain people scare easily. They scare easily. And then to me, this is way overboard. Did you catch that? $1 million cash bond, according to this Jay Dupanak, Fox 2 reporter. 35-year-old Hassan Chokr, getting used to that pronunciation, in America. Real nice American name. This is Dearborn area, Dearborn, Michigan, where a lot of Muslims are taking over, which probably these Jewish people voted for. They voted for this takeover. $1 million cash bond, no 10%. And I don't know what that no 10% means, but I think that in general, if you get sent to jail, you have a certain amount of bail, you have to pay 10% of that. But I guess this person had to pay $1 million rather than, what's 10% of $1 million? Million? Is that 100,000? I don't know. 100,000? Somebody help me. 10 million? 10,000? I don't know, man. I'm shaking my head at my lack of math. And I used to be good at math, but I let it go. I got a W. I withdrew. This is a side note. I'm rambling. I withdrew from... The Hakes are good at math. I withdrew from Calculus BC at Pasadena City College because I just started going underwater. I didn't want to do this long project that the Asian teacher was giving me. I'm like, let me get a W, withdraw. After too many weeks, you can withdraw and get a W, which is kind of like an F, but it's a W instead. Did you know? So anyway, I don't know. 100. It's bothering me. I feel like I want to check, but let me suppress that ego. So here's clip 12, 100,000. Thank you, Hassan. The Muslims, and Hassan is descended from the Muslims, are excellent at math. They invented algebra, I heard. So anyway, let me get to clip 12, guys. Here's the raw video footage from the courtroom. Jewish bloop. This is a clip from Stop Anti-Semitism. Semites. Jewish bloop. Zionist bloop. And I disavow those words, of course. We're about love. It may have been accurate statements, but they were not said. The truth must be spoken in love, not in anger. Otherwise, it's not truth. Hassan Chokr to Judge Nelson-Klein, a female judge, today at his arraignment. Listen to this clip, minute and a half.
supervised by Petra services. They will have authority to do testing, random testing for drugs and alcohol, and my turn, and your GPS tether. You'll be fingerprinted at the Oakland County Jail. You on that GPS tether, you may only, thank you, let the record reflect that you just gave the court the finger.
I censored it.
You may only leave your house. My turn. Can you mute him, please?
God is gonna judge you. Remember, the way you're judging me, God's gonna judge you the same way.
Mr. Chokr, you're not helping yourself.
Thank you.
I don't care.
You may only leave your house for medical appointments, court appearances, or for your attorney visits only. You're on house arrest. You must turn in any and all weapons of any type to the Bloomfield Township Police Department upon release. Detective, did I miss anything?
You, detective.
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Fillmore, any questions?
Your system is bull. Your system's gonna collapse. Your system's gonna collapse. You're taking my freedom of speech away. My freedom's away. In the end of the day, your freedom they're stripped away from you. You will not see heaven, and you will be doomed to hell, and you will see my words are true. You go ahead and give me that harsh punishment. You'll see the punishment God's gonna give you. I'm a God-fearing man. I don't hurt nobody. I didn't have no intent to hurt nobody. I was practicing my freedom of speech.
So we got to hear a little bit more of his side. He claims that he was not going to hurt anybody, nobody, and he's a God-fearing man. And I don't know if that's accurate. He may think he is. He seems mad. But don't be mad, man. Don't be mad. Chokr was charged with felonious counts of ethnic intimidation. I'm shaking my head at that charge. After harassing Jewish families dropping their kids off at daycare at Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. No words, says Stop Anti-Semites on Twitter. Thank you. Let the record show you gave the court the finger. Something like that. I'm laughing, but don't do that, kids. It's not funny. $1 million cash bond, no 10%. So this part is funny. It's not funny, but I'm laughing. Oh, let me read that part. Hassan over here is showing, let's see. Hassan Chokr's, if you could zoom in down at the bottom of that one. His bond has been set at $1 million. If he is able to post out, he will be subject to house arrest. Stop Anti-Semitism, that's the name of their Twitter, grossly disagrees with this bond option as this man has professed a desire to obtain a handgun and harm Jewish individuals, including children. And that's what Stop Anti-Semitism claims. But this person, Hassan Chokr says that he didn't intend to hurt anybody, which who knows? Who knows? Because I didn't get to see any evidence, any of the actual evidence, footage, So anyway, a little update on a little side note here. Click on Detroit. It says Dearborn man charged in. Oh, you can show his mugshot. Charged in anti-Semitic incident, so-called, has bond revoked in a separate case. On Tuesday, Hassan Chokr was in front of a Wayne County judge. And what are all these female judges? They have no authority. No natural authority, that is, Like, come on. That voice doesn't instill fear or respect. But anyway, for an emergency bond hearing on separate charges. So this guy has run-ins with the law. Chokr sealed his own fate with another disrespectful courtroom outburst during the emergency bond hearing. Chokr, not Tupac Shakur, mooned the judge. Kids, don't ask what it is. We'll tell you when you're older. The kids probably know better than us. Who'd released him on bond The judge had released him on bond and he mooned him. 2.5 years ago, he released him on bond over a felony case in Dearborn. Mooning the judge. I'm laughing, but it's not funny. I disapprove. Is one of 2 disrespectful acts that Chokr, I'm getting used to his name, has done within 24 hours on Monday. The Dearborn man flipped the judge off with his middle finger. Don't do that, kids. Wayne County 3rd District Court Judge Regina Thomas released Chokr on $10,000 bond in a case where he ended up charged with assault with a deadly weapon. So he has been violent before, allegedly. And assaulting a police officer. Look, I censored the middle finger. He's flipping off the judge in the court. And luckily they don't have any picture of him mooning the other judge. 2 female judges. What a slap in the face to the poor Muslim man. I'm assuming he's Muslim, right? That case, at the height of the China virus, came as a result of an angry outburst at the Islamic Center of America, on Ford Road, where he allegedly assaulted a female volunteer and ended up with Dearborn police chasing him down the street as he carried a gun. His assaulting a police officer case has yet to go to trial. So we don't know. I don't know what the truth is. All over words. And let me read this little tidbit. I know I'm spending a long time on this, but it's so interesting to me, I guess. I got caught up maybe. My mind went away from my body and I got into this story too much maybe. But you're going to have to grin and bear it because here it is. And sure enough, I was thinking about this. Are they going to blame Kanye West for this? Are they going to blame whoever, like, oh, words? You know, because Kanye's been expressing words. Maybe angry words, I don't know. He says he loves them, but I disavow Kanye West, I guess, for the sake of my YouTube channel. Yair Rosenberg. YAIR_Rosenberg. Don't harass him, though, guys. Don't harass him. Don't bother him. I'm serious. Anyway, December 1st, writer at The Atlantic, teller of stories, troller of Nazis. So he's trolling you guys. Don't get trolled. Don't get sucked in. By Nazis, I mean anybody who's white, I guess. Anyway, as you watch... this is the tweet from Yair Rosenberg. If you could zoom in on this red circled part, because I gave this big old screenshot because there's so much going on in these few tweets in his Yair Rosenberg, this relevant person who's tweeting. The Atlantic, far left, enemies of America media outlet. I don't know anything about this Yair Rosenberg guy. He tweeted though, as you watch Kanye use Zionists as a lazy code for Jews, I hope you will remember it later because he is far from the only one who does this. Anti-Semitism, and he spells it all with one word, not with a hyphen. That's what a lot of these victim activists want to turn it into just all one word. Regularly wraps itself in respectable euphemisms, which helps it spread with plausible deniability. And so he tweeted a few days later, last week, a man drove up to Michigan's oldest Jewish congregation. That's right. That temple, Beth El, was founded in something like 1850 in America. Wow. A man drove up to Michigan's oldest Jewish congregation and menaced parents and kids at the daycare there, according to reports, right? According to these people. So, what a mess. So, all over words, like overreacting to words. And yeah, he had a run-in with cops, according to the story, like he was charged with having a gun and assault with a deadly weapon or something. I don't know. In a separate incident. At a mosque place, Islamic Center, that's a Muslim place with a female and cops. So listen to this. Let's wrap it up with a nice closing. It's not a closing to the story, but December 6th, family of this Dearborn man, they use the term man loosely, suspected of hate crime. They did call it a hate crime. I'm shaking my head at the notion of a hate crime. Just charge him with intimidation if you want to. but not ethnic intimidation. That shouldn't even be a thing. This is according to CBS Detroit. Here's the YouTube video from this is clip 13. The brother apologizes. 2 minutes long. Here it is.
An update on a Dearborn man accused of making anti-Semitic threats outside a synagogue in Bloomfield Township. The family of Hassan Chokr is now speaking out. They say he is suffering from serious mental health issues and that they have a message for the Jewish community affected by his actions. Detroit Now's Gino Vici spoke with those family members today. He joins us from Ford Road and Inkster in Garden City.
When I saw my brother in the video, I was sad. I was sad for the little kids. I was sad for the parents. I was sad for everybody who had to be exposed to that.
Hussein Chokr says his family felt compelled to speak out tonight after his brother Hassan was arrested and then charged for an alleged ethnic intimidation incident outside Temple Bethel in Bloomfield Township. Chokr says he feels horrible about what happened.
On behalf of my community and my family, we would like to apologize to the Jewish community in the Temple Bethel for what my brother has done.
According to Bloomfield Township Police, Hassan Chokr pulled into the parking lot at Temple Bethel on Friday afternoon and began to make threatening statements to security guards right before parents were scheduled to pick up their children.
What are you going to do if I don't?
Hussein says he wants to make clear what his brother did was wrong, but also says he is suffering from mental health issues and he's hopeful he gets the help he needs and not just thrown in jail.
So my brother has been in and out of police stations, he's been in and out of jails, he's been in and out of hospitals. It's just been a really, really rough 3 years for our family.
Hassan Chokr was arraigned on Monday inside an Oakland County courthouse. He lashed out at the judge when his $1 million bond was announced.
Only leave your house.
While Hussein and his family wait to see what happens to his brother, legally speaking, they plan to visit Temple Bethel to make a donation and apologize in person. Meanwhile, he's also hoping to bring awareness to Hassan's mental health struggles and has this message for his sibling.
Brother, I love you infinitely. I'll always be there for you, no matter what, up or down. I pray for you.
In Garden City, I'm Gino Vici.
Isn't that nice? Wasn't that nice? I thought it was well-meaning of that. The brother. Two strapping young lads, light-skinned Muslim guys with dark hair. I don't know where they're from. Hassan Chokr and Hussein. Hassan and Hussein Chokr. No relation to Tupac. Tupac. Rest in peace, Tupac. Tupac. Shaking my head. What a mess, huh? Let me read some live chat here. You can call in, guys. 888-775-3773. I saw some interesting statements over here. Tyler over there at the Facebook crew. Shout out to the Facebook crew. Says, weak brother. Yeah, I suppose so. I suppose. But not as weak as this other brother. Or maybe they're both weak. One is compliant, the other rebelling. Both weak, right? The rebel and the person who conforms to the mama of the culture. Mama culture. That's what it is. Control freak culture. You can't say these words. Canadian David said, over there on D Live, said, looks like he has a gun on to his head. Oh, yeah, huh? He did look kind of scared. That's true. I thought you were saying that it looks like he has a gun in his hand, meaning the suspect. But no, gun to his head. Yeah, he does look scared. Kind of deer in headlights type of a look. True. Everything is upside down. Says intimidation or threats? Good point. I'm not for this intimidation nonsense. I'm for threats. But people use like veiled threats. And then they have that word that the Yair Rosenberg used, plausible deniability. I didn't make any specific threats. And you can get away with veiled threats, but not specific threats. And so it's intimidation, I guess. You know, in terms of the law, what a mess. Fred Johnson, first they came for the mental cases, but I wasn't one. And that's a reference to this old what is that, a Jewish proverb? First they came for the radical homosexuals, but I was not a radical homosexual. Then they came for the bankers, but I was not a banker. I don't know what all they came for. First they came for, let's update it to American, as Americans, we Americans might understand. First they came for those Daily Stormer guys, but I was not a Daily Stormer guy. They also came for the so-called neo-Nazis, but I was not a neo-Nazi. Then they came for, who all they come for? Big Bear, Owen Benjamin, but I was not Owen Benjamin or a bear. Then they came for Alex Jones, but I was not an InfoWars fan, at least not that much. And then they came for, who else they've been coming for? But I was not that. Then the January 6ers, I was not January 6er. And before that, though, they came for the Unite the Right guys, but I did not go to Charlottesville, thank God. And then now they're coming for everybody, all Trump supporters. But some of you guys are abandoning Trump. And now America is gone. Thank you, Fred Johnson. That's deep. Felony? Yeah, exactly, Space Cadet. I don't understand how it's a felony. John Frederick says, I'm going to need some video proof. Yeah, me too, except that I'm not that interested in this story. Other than that, I see this as, I thought this was America. I'm sorry, I thought this was America. I do wish everybody well in this story. There's that the rabbi who is fearful on behalf of the families and children and himself maybe, and the poor criminal guy, alleged criminal guy, who's just out of control, angry. He sees the insanity and it's driving him even more insane. He's already insane, maybe mama type thing. Wonder what the family situation is like. Crazy. That's about it for the chat related to this story. Let me read a few more other chats, unrelated. Super chats, if you will. Sugino states, Hake does not realize that water in drops of water that are round. Water is drops of water that are round, okay? So a water line is curved on the flat earth. But I'm not looking at the curve. I don't even notice the curve on the flat earth. For our purposes, it's flat, but in reality, it's a ball. Ball-tard. Ball-tard. I don't see the curve. People say it's curved. Or people say it's not curved. Go get a level. It's not curved. This whole flat earth debate. It's not up for debate, but I will happily look at it. Why is the line so crisp? Because you guys say, oh, it's imperceptible. If you get a really good telescope, you'll see Hawaii and maybe even Mount Everest, if that is a real thing. But thank you, Sho Sugino. Predator versus illegal alien, David C. says. Very nice. There was another excellent little chat that I wanted to read here. Hang tight, guys. Hang on. Funny chat. Okay. Putin, Joseph, this is from the JLP chat during Hake News. Putin is playing chess. We're playing ping pong. Yeah. Well, I don't know if that's true, but it seems like Putin is smarter than the sleepy Biden administration. Maybe. I don't know if he's going to do well in life. But let's get to some real super chats, guys. Star Sion with a super chat. Thank you, Star Sion, on streamlabs.com/The Hake Report/tip. Hake, tell us the truth. Are you into white girl, Mexican, Asian, or chocolate black like Wandaline P in the chat? LOL. Man, maybe I shouldn't have read that out loud. In my mind, I know that I should stick with the whites. In my mind, I know that I should stick with the whites. That's all I'm saying. Okay, Delilah. Trying to dig into the man's weaknesses. What a mess. And some super chat backlog for you guys. From September 5th, Based America First. September 5th, okay? I was out for many months, you know. Gave a super saying, DC's dog mayor, Muriel Bowser, disbelieving her own vax counts, refuses to allow unvaccinated students to attend school with no remote learning option. This affects 40% of all black students. White supremacist Bowser. Muriel Bowser is a black female mayor of Washington, D.C., the swamp itself. Disgusting. And I think he calls her a dog mayor, Based America First, which I disavow. I disavow dehumanizing language, especially for a black woman. You're racist, Based America First. White supremacist Bowser, keeping the black man down. Yeah, that's true. Indeed. And that's enough for that. That's enough for that. Thank you, super chatters and live chatters on JLP and Hake. Let's get to some Hake news, shall we? Hake news, not fake news? Or is it? Because I read CNN and The Skim. Commie Union journalists. This is from Commie Nonsense Network. I started to read this in Hake news, but I ran out of time. 1,100. That's how many journalists in the New York Slimes, the failing New York Slimes, are expected to strike today. Maybe they're doing it already, or maybe they called it off. Who knows? Because this was sent hours ago. After management and the union, socialist union, communist union, representing staffers, failed to reach an agreement in the new contract after more than a year and a half of negotiations. I know this, you guys were looking for this story. The walkout is aimed at applying pressure to management at the failing New York Slimes to offer additional concessions, including wage increases. Wage increases. I'm shaking my head. What value do 1,100 so-called journalists at the failing New York Slimes, what do they bring to the New York Slimes? Are they subsidized by some billionaire or a few? Sleazy anti-American commie capitalist billionaire? I'm shaking my head. Getting worked up. But that's that for that story. Sleazy people. All of them. Devils fighting devils, as JLP says. And he's right about that. I like that. Because I'm not on the New York Slimes' side, nor am I on the slimy union side. They're all against America, in my opinion. Maybe there's a few who are nice. I wish them well. We should wish everybody well, right? Anyway, Peru. Quick story before I get to calls. Peru. Peru. It's in South America, I think. Pretty sure. Not covered in Hake News, but I mentioned it briefly. I introed it as though I was going to cover it, so I'm remiss in not covering it. Here's from CNN, Commie Nonsense Network. Here's a quote that they felt was notable. My first task is to fight corruption in all forms. And that's the quote. Wow. So inspiring, so real, so original. Muy original. That means very original. I learned that from Pasadena City College Spanish teacher. Dina, D-I-N-A, Boluarte. Dina Boluarte. Why am I saying it like it's Italian? Dina Boluarte. Boluarte. Sorry, guys. I get hung up on pronunciations. Boluarte. After being sworn in Wednesday as the new president of Peru. Can you search up a picture of like a map of Peru, I guess? Peru map. I want to see what it looks like. I vaguely have a picture of what it looks like, but I could be confusing it with others. Because I used to play Axis and Allies or Diplomacy or something, one of those board games that my oldest brother forced me to play. And that was where I learned a little bit of geography, Greenland and others. And also in Spanish class, we learned some of the South American. Hopefully it's South America and not some others. Whatever. She is the first female president in the country's history. The country is history. The country is history. To play on words, just call Hake a rapper now. On the same day, her predecessor, Pedro Castillo, was removed from office and arrested, oh my gosh, for unconstitutionally declaring the temporary closure of Congress, according to several constitutional analysts in the country. I wonder if she said this, quote, my first task is to fight corruption in all forms. I wonder if she stated that in Spanish or English, or does Peru speak some other language, like Portuguese or something? Did you find a picture of it? Did you happen to? Well, that's Dina Boluarte. I know nothing about her. I'm just profiling her as a woman, because Hake is, I disavow all, what is that thing? What is that word? Oh, there it is, Peru. Yeah, that's kind of what I pictured. Peru is kind of shaped like deformed California. Is it south of the equator? I think it is, most of it anyway, because Ecuador is on its northwestern border. Peru. Cool. Next to Brazil, next to Bolivia, next to Colombia. Oh gosh, don't say it like that, Hake. I feel like one of those white nerds who pronounces it all in Spanish. Except for the base real Donald Trump who says, Puerto Rico. And Chile, to its south. Peru. Whoa, that's a nice picture. I like that map. We're looking at maps. Lima, Peru. Peru. We pronounce it Peru. They're calling the ocean Peru, too. Cusco. Very nice. Thank you, Hassan. Is it pronounced Hassan or is it pronounced Hassan? Either way, it's okay. He has no ego about his name. That's nice. Anyway, thank you, CNN, for sharing this information. Peru is Peru going to improve? There's Peru in the world map. Oh, it's pretty far up there. Nice. I wonder if that's going to be significant to us. Well, let me get to Rick in Maine. Rick in Maine, how you doing?
Doing all right, bud. How are you?
Doing fine, thank you.
There you go. There you go.
How are you?
I'm hanging in there, enjoying my day off.
Oh, right on.
I'm running downtown here. I got a couple of errands I got to do.
Nice.
I got a side note there for the flat earthers.
Okay.
This planet is round like the knot on your head.
And they say it is round like a disc, like a CD.
People, you've been drinking too much Kool-Aid and smoking too much crack.
I think there's a dome. Wait, that sounds kind of like defamation, because all flat earthers don't smoke crack. But maybe it's a figure of speech. But they do believe that
prove it by me.
What is the thing? What is that thing? What's that thing that they say, bro, Nick? The dome. We're under a dome. The firmament, bro. The firmament is round.
Amazing. Oh, man. I'll tell you, it takes all kinds, I guess.
Yeah. But, and you know what? It's interesting that whatever you believe, you have an answer for everything. You know, like when I said, look at the Are most flat earthers inland? Are they in places where they can't see the beach generally? Because when you look at the ocean, it's clearly a ball earth, because why else would there be a horizon so crisp?
Right.
And then their answer for it is, well, James, there actually is stuff beyond the horizon. It's just imperceptible. It is atmospheric perspective. The atmosphere is hiding Mount Everest, Hawaii, and all that stuff. And plus, it's so small because it's so far away. Stuff looks small so far away. So it looks like a straight line, but it's actually jagged line. But for me, it's like so obvious, but they have an answer for it. And in their mind, it makes sense. And that's the case with all the liberals. And that's why the liberals say in debates that I've had back when I was debating, and I think I will hopefully get back to it, that women are just as logical and rational as men, because they logically arrive at conclusions, all the wrong conclusions, but they have a form of logic, Satan's logic. You can rationalize evil. You can rationalize making gay okay is one of the rationalizations that was a book written. Making Gay Okay was a book written by Robert Reich or something like that, a Catholic man, Catholic intellectual, smart man. And they rationalize evil as being good. And so in their mind, that's logical. We love flat earthers here, and we love Black Hebrew Israelites, which they don't call themselves black. And we love everybody. DeSantis people, Kanye people, Trump people, anti-Trump people. Because we're about unity where it's possible. Nice.
I agree, my
Unity
friend.
around what's right.
Yes, sir.
And then allow people to be wrong or to disagree with other things. So that's your message for the flat earthers. To insult
right
them.
According to right, not according to twisted right.
Yeah. And we all got to watch ourselves. It's so funny when people have a dispute. They're pointing the finger at each other, and they can so clearly see how each other is wrong, but they can't see themselves. We can't see ourselves. Pride.
Just got to look at the whole picture, not the narrow version.
Yeah.
Have a good one, buddy.
Thank you,
I'll
Rick.
talk with you later.
All right. You too. Let's get to some exciting stuff, right? Too much rambling from Hake. Hold me back! Mask fight! Or fake wannabe fight. Hold me back! Let's get to clip 14. I'm running out of clips. I'm not going to have any more clips. This is from clownworld_. I don't know when this was or where it was or how it went down, but I happened to cross it on Twitter. Clownworld_ reports. Guy with the mask, got mad because some guy walked too close to him without wearing a mask. And then he's a laughing face emoji. 30 seconds. I'm chuckling because his girlfriend or wife or some woman is holding him back. And he's a little out of shape, you know. So many of us working white men become remedial in our physical fitness. Not good. Here it is. Enjoy.
Don't do it! Ever since pick up my wallet. Aaron, you're going to go to jail. Please stop. My back is killing you. Please stop. Please stop. Please stop.
I don't know if he's a normal white. A black dude's holding him back now. The black man stopping the violence. Silence the violence. Increase the peace. So for those of you guys who were not watching the video feed, if you're listening on the JLP Live or TalkStream Live, or if you're listening on the audio podcast recording, I do now have audio podcast up on Substack. It's a parallel one. I may switch to Substack from Podbean. I'm not sure. I do like Podbean, but I don't like what I heard that they censored Big Bear, Vox Day maybe, and Owen Benjamin. I didn't appreciate that story. That was years ago, but I'm stuck with them. I've stuck with them. But anyway, you can listen on audio podcasts. So what was happening was it appeared to be like in a grocery store or some big store, and this guy, purportedly white, light-skinned, with dark hair, dark brown hair, could be a normal white, could be a different type of white, not normal. This is certainly not normal behavior for any human being, although it's become commonplace, all too typical. This guy wearing a black, those strap-on mask things for the China virus, fear of the China virus. And I don't know when this was. If it was recent, it seems ridiculous. Actually, it's ridiculous even if it wasn't recent, right? During the height of the China virus scare. This guy's getting all mad, according to Clown World _ and they're never wrong. They're a legitimate news source, according to Hake. I might be a little bit facetious, but Clown World they're correct. It is Clown Worldish. Clownish. For this guy to be all acting like he's gonna walk towards this person and confront him and fight him. And like these girls are able to hold him back. Like one young lady, perhaps a girlfriend or what, I don't know, like I said, holding him back. You're gonna go to blanking jail. If you do it, don't do it. And then I saw another hand with fingernail polish on it, up against his chest briefly, and that was sufficient to hold this beast of a man back. He really wanted to fight. Oh, man, I gotta calm down. I'm spitting when I talk, not on purpose. I would never purposely spit never say never, but I'm not purposely spitting in the Jesse Lee Peterson studio. That would be disrespectful. And then this skinny black guy gently holding him back, and he's calmed down by then. But it's funny. If it's true, it's funny. Well, any time that a person pretends like he wants to fight and he's acting like you, hold me back. If you wanted to get at whoever it was, I didn't see the purported would-be victim. And I don't know what was said or done to make the guy mad, but according to Clown World _ he walked too close to him without wearing a mask. And meanwhile, these people with masks are all in his face. And when you're that close, like, you're going to get the germs. You're going to get the germs, the cooties, especially with the females. Was that a black lady with her fingernail polish or light-skinned POC lady? Don't know, but that was funny. Hold me back. Okay, so I will get to more of your calls. Kay from Brooklyn, New York wants to talk about the flat earth and the crisp, quote-unquote, horizon. And more calls on the line. And I will also cover, who could have predicted this? A messed up economy? Inflation? What is the cause? It's a mystery. And some other things. Based Indonesia, I may cover. And some other things. Gross celebrities. Rest in peace, Kirstie Alley. I didn't get to cover that. Han Solo. Shaking my head. But anyway, guys, now is the time for some music. We're about at the top of the hour. Petra, I've been playing Petra. I hope you like it. This is from Petra Praise. The rock cries out. Jesus said, if these people don't praise me or the Lord, these stones will cry out. 1989 song, Take Me In. Hope you enjoy it, guys. I know I did. I do. Here it is, you musical Philistines, and I'll be right back for hour 2. Here it is.
Take me past the outer courts, through the holy place, past the brazen altar. Lord, I want to see your face. past the outer courts, through the holy place, past the brazen altar. Lord, I want to see your face. Pass me by the crowds of people, the priest to sing your praise. I hunger and thirst for your righteousness, and it's only found one place. Take me into the holy of holies. Take me in by the blood of the Lamb. Take me into the holy of holies. Take the cold, cleanse my lips. Here I am. Take the cold, cleanse my lips. Here I am.
So good. Is it not? I heard a little bit of me talking in the, because I keep it all low. Anyway, thank you guys. It's devil music masquerading as Jesus music, says Blark Blark. How can you deny this beautiful music? Shout out to Petra Praise albums. Petra came out with praise albums. Pretty gay Christian music, says Goldberger Art. Oh, forget you, man. No, don't forget. This is not man music, says Ben Thorpe Abel. I can't believe you guys. I like it. I mean, I grew up with it. And I wasn't the biggest fan of their praise albums, but some of these songs are just so nice. Come on. You guys just... Maybe it needs to grow on you. Maybe that song had to grow on me, because I did hear it many, many times. Wait, Han Solo? Asks Lisa J. Fox. Oops, I doxed her. Yeah, Han Solo, he's coming back. Well, Indiana Jones. Hold me back, bro. Hold me back, Petra haters. Anyway, thank you guys for bearing with me through that beautiful, beautiful music. In my opinion. Reading the chat here. Let me read this chat here. Here's a nice little chat from Gerana Mo on Odyssey. Did you know that I'm streaming on Odyssey? As well as Rumble. Hake is on Rumble. How many Christian churches have been intimidated, quote unquote, and even burned to the ground in the past few years? And remind me, how was that reported in the news again? Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, there's a crazy attack on the Christians. But since the media is not exactly Christian or not exactly pro-Christian, I cracked pro-Christian. I'm chuckling because I got distracted. Then I guess they don't care about the Christians being under attack around the world and in America and across Europe. Christians, whites, men, they don't really care about us. And independent thinkers who may not be Christian or white or men. It's true. Thank you, Geronimo, who also says, could it be possible that there are more options besides the ideas of globe or flat earth? Yeah, I suppose so. Let me get to Kay, a first-time caller in Brooklyn, New York. Speaking of this topic. Kay, is it spelled K, just the letter K?
Yeah, just K as a nickname. How's it going?
Going well. How about you?
Pretty good. I enjoyed the show. I've been listening for maybe a couple weeks now. Started with Jesse. So yeah, enjoy your work.
Thanks, man.
But I just had a couple of statements. I don't really like to argue or debate about it because it is a pretty interesting topic. But
for sure,
when he spoke about the horizon, as far as it cutting off at a certain distance at the beach, or you can see that it's a straight line.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the Red Bull jump when the dude jumped out of what they said was space and he was like 120,000 feet in the air?
Yeah. I did see that on YouTube. It had millions of views. And he was like supposedly in the stratosphere, this daredevil type guy. And it had like a fisheye lens, so you couldn't really tell what the real thing was. But
exactly. And pretty much the whole shot encompassed New Mexico for the most, so it was very misleading. But one of these science educator experts, Neil deGrasse Tyson, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with him.
Yeah, he's black. And he's a liberal, and he has a mustache.
Yeah, so be careful what he says.
Right.
But anyway, he says at that height, you wouldn't be able to see it because it's like being 2 millimeters above some beach ball he had. And he's like, at that height, it would still seem flat.
Oh, that's funny. Very interesting.
Very interesting. So my whole idea is that if it's flat from that height, and that's miles up in the air, then when you're at the beach and you're registering some sort of a curve, say at 3 miles out or however far out, it doesn't make sense that you would be able to register a curve on the ground level.
Right.
So high up you can't register it.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, exactly. I don't. When I'm looking at the horizon, I'm not looking for any curve. I'm just looking at the fact that it's so crisp, such a crisp line.
So crisp.
That means in my mind, which I suppose I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. It seems like it drops off. It seems like that's where the curve is. Like
starts to
that's where we stop seeing where we're seeing that. I mean, barring refraction and all that stuff from light.
Right.
That means to me that
when people zoom back in on things that supposedly have gone beyond the curve, because that's been the explanation for hundreds of years, that when boats go away, they disappear bottom up because they're going over the curve. So what do you think when people zoom back in and they see these things?
Well,
after
they do make a good point that it may not be just that it's disappearing behind the curve, that it's also tiny and imperceptible before it even gets to the horizon.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah. So because waves, I'm sure that there are some waves that go maybe as high as a ship, but we don't perceive those.
Right.
So,
I agree with that. But I just feel like, I think when I look at this topic, I pay attention to what the official story is, and I compare it against reality. And one more thing I'll just leave when it comes to that and the idea of deception goes back to the moon landings. And I don't know if you ever looked into that before. It's a whole other thing.
I've heard about it. I have not looked into it.
The fact that they say we've landed on the moon, humans on the moon 6 times, back in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
And now they're saying that we can't take humans out of low Earth orbit, according to their, words. They're saying that we can't do that now, but they don't know what would happen. So when I look at this topic, I tend to just look at, okay, what's the lie and what's the truth, or what words are they, what type of story are they spinning? So it's really, one of those topics, like you said, people have explanations on both sides. So it's really a matter of discernment, maybe, when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
And maybe not thinking this whole idea that, so many people, so many experts, and so much history is behind this concept or behind this reality that's been spun. Because it does seem like, how could they possibly, keep something like that from everyone? So yeah, I'm not really 100% one way or the other, but I'm definitely a skeptic when it comes to the scientific story that we've been given.
Interesting. Yeah. The whole we lost. The story goes with the whether we're going to the moon again. I mean, they're thinking about going again in in the next few years, I guess. It's almost sort of believable because stuff isn't made the same way anymore, The materials that we use. Look at the way that cars are made. Now they're made with plastic and stuff, whereas they used to be made with steel and all kinds of stuff. And they claim that it's so expensive to go to the moon. I don't really, for me, that issue is neither here nor there.
Right. I agree. So, except for the part where it's along the lines of deception, it's something that I sometimes think back on, and I'm just like, could the lie be so deep? Could there be so much lies going? I mean, lies are happening all the time, but could it be so deep? It's just something to question. And one more thing I'll leave you with, whenever your mind leaves your body next time, just think about this kind of experiment as far as our atmosphere being next to what they say is a void or vacuum. And the fact that does violate a scientific law as far as equalizing of gas pressure. So there's an explanation they give, but like I said, I don't want to go too deeply into it, but it's one of those physical explanations that they give us, this is what's happening on our Earth, and we have an atmosphere, even though it's supposed to extend into the available space. So to believe that there's no scientific experiment that can show you that gas behaves in that way on a human level, small scale.
Right.
So to believe in that is almost just as much faith you have to put into the scientific explanation, because there's no actual science to back that up. It's just the gas feather out, and then eventually the vacuum or the void doesn't act on it. It's a very light thing. But anyway, that's one of those. I like to look at compare the stories pretty much. It's the reality and then what we've been told.
Interesting,
just getting
man.
through the lies, yeah. But
yeah,
anyway,
it's
that's my
it's hard. We don't know how things operate. You're right. So much of life is a mystery. We don't know how things operate at that scale.
Right.
People are like, "Oh, water finds its level," but you don't know at that scale.
True. Gravity may be keeping it down. People might be upside down right now.
And is gravity a pull or is it a push?
Exactly, right.
And all kinds of stuff.
They switched it. They used to be one, now it's the other.
Yeah.
But, one more thing, because Jesse usually says keeping your palms up during the silent prayer because God is in us, but also above.
Uh-huh.
But within this model, there is no such thing as above because it's all relative.
Well, since it is relative, there is above, but it just depends where you are.
Okay, cool. It doesn't cancel out.
Yeah. Nice, man. Appreciate it. It's fun to hear from you, Kay. Are you white or are you European? Well, European is white, but
no,
what are you?
I'm not. I'm black.
I thought that you might be something. I couldn't tell.
No, I'm black.
Are you black American or are you black?
Air quotes black. First generation, actually, Caribbean American.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. Nice, man.
Okay. All right, man. Have a good day.
All right. You as well. Take care. Right on. I lost my Twitter feed, but I believe that the video is still going. Anyway, what a mess. Let me get to this person from Queens, New York, who calls himself something, what would you call it? Unpalatable? Not that nice sounding? Stained something. And actually, is it spelled H-A-I-N-E-S or is it H-A-N-E-S?
That would be H-A-N-E-S, sir. And
okay.
I think the word you're looking for is unsavory.
Right, and thank you, man. Appreciate your vocabulary. Do you have a first name that we could use?
Oh, of course, Alex.
Nice. Great to hear from you. From Queens, New York, man. What's up?
How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, thank you.
I'm calling in because I'd like to get your thoughts on culture war, specifically about a certain corner on Twitter where there are many prominent people who have sizable audiences and seem to have a platform to enact something that resembles change these days, right? But from what it seems like, at least to me, an outsider, it's like culture war guys preach to a choir, keeping them walking in circles like in the desert, but they think they're crossing the horizon every few weeks with a game of what I call notice and move on. Have you ever noticed that these large accounts, first of all, they would probably be out of a job if any solutions happened, right? But second of all, none of these people ever seem to suggest things like, hey, donate old clothes you don't wear and clean out the pantry and donate that. Or, hey, go lend your time and energy to a school program, a church, a community center, a senior center. You know, like most people never look up where the closest plasma donation place is or the Salvation Army until they have to go there. And things are getting worse by the minute outside. But these culture war guys, and some with columns and YouTube channels and all these things, it's like they need to keep their following stuck in stage one thinking. And I'm curious if you had any thoughts about this.
I think I sort of understand your point. You're saying that people who are into the culture war, why aren't they into helping people who are needy?
Well, right. Like to do things outside of Twitter and outside of the internet. Like this is probably the best example I could give. So it doesn't matter what a lot of people's thoughts are about something like gay marriage or legalized or decriminalized weed, but it happened. And it started at the local level of canvassing, going to town hall meetings, being told to shut up, finding out people in local politics run unopposed, and then the ballot turns into initiative, the initiative turns into state legislature, and the left seems to be able to mobilize at light speed, and that seems to be mostly absent in the right, actually.
Yeah, that is true. So you're talking not about the helping people, but actual physical, practical things, local things that you can do in your life that results later if enough people keep at it with changing the culture, the country for the better, rather than stopping.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Is that what you're talking about?
Well, yes, but I would argue both of them are sort of intertwined with one another because both involve putting down the phone and going outside.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
And not to come off as bitter or vindictive, but some of these accounts, if Twitter were to go down tomorrow, half of them wouldn't have a way for their following to find them. Like if Twitter went down tomorrow, you'd still be broadcasting, right?
Right.
Right. And the smart ones have something to funnel their following into.
As long as the internet still works.
Well, right. But, you know, it's just strange how there are, there seems to be like a propensity for things like learned helplessness.
Hold on, man. Sorry, is the video working okay? People are saying frozen.
You could blame it on Queens. That's where I'm calling from.
Okay. People on Facebook are complaining about it. Okay, whatever.
Sorry, Facebook.
Yeah, sorry about that. Go ahead, Alex.
So these culture war guys, they seem to instill learned helplessness into the people who take them seriously. And on top of that, they seem to defer to like nebulous evils. Like, for example, you know when people complain about the government or the cathedral or the regime or these faceless entities that are seemingly around the corner all the time, it sort of presents evil as romantic and imaginary instead of like, I don't know if you or anyone on the listening is familiar with the banality of evil.
Right.
Long story
That makes
short,
sense.
at the end of the day, these institutions are run by people. If you call them the government or the regime or the cathedral, like, it just turns it into a cheap, oh, I got shortchanged at Safeway today. The regime is at it again, Oh, someone parked in the handicap spot before I could. Lousy regime. It turns into this reflexive thing people can defer to of all the shortcomings, and it really does a disservice to make this imaginary seemingly always out of touch and far off, like in the distance, instead of, come on, it's like when people talk about the government.
I got your meaning. I got you.
Right, like they talk about it like it's a building that grew legs and is leaving destruction in its wake in downtown. Right?
Well, somewhat interesting. I was going to say very interesting, but no, I get your point. I get your point, man. Thanks, man.
So,
Thanks for the input.
I was curious if you had any thoughts on in this population that it seems to be mostly in the right wing of Twitter. And
I don't really pay that much attention to Twitter, honestly, even though I get clownworld_ and other stuff from Twitter. But other than that, I can't really comment on that. But it's something that I'll have to consider. You left me with something to think on and reflect on. I appreciate that, Alex. It's good to hear from you.
Oh, well,
I got to go.
Both ways. Thanks for having me on your program.
Thank you, man. Call again sometime.
Oh, and keep up the good work, and nothing but the best for you and yours for Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you as well. Are you a Christian?
Yes, sir.
All right. How old are you?
I'm 38.
Okay. Nice, man. Take care.
Take care, man.
All right, bye. 38-year-old man with that username, unsavory username. At least he has a better, a quicker access to his vocabulary than Hake does. Let me quickly get to this story. See if I can plow through it. The messed up economy. Who could have predicted that? I almost said the bad word. Messed up economy. Given the, who could have predicted it? I'm being sarcastic with it, given the, the China virus shutdowns. This is an NPR Pocket article. I have the screenshot of the Pocket headline from it. The mystery of rising prices. Are greedy corporations to blame for inflation? And it's an NPR article shared by Pocket, far-left outlet, shared on Firefox. Firefox is dumb liberal web browser. Pocket is dumb liberal article aggregate, sometimes interesting, though. And it caught my attention, and it has like a picture of a brick wall with a black and white photo of what is that, supposed to be like Sherlock Holmes with his pipe and his Sherlock Holmes hat, investigating, what's the mystery of rising prices? Are greedy corporations to blame for inflation? Let's examine the clues and the potential culprits. It's from NPR, National Public Radio, far-left Enemies of America outlet. The writer is Stacy Vanek Smith, November 29th article. And I'm like, the mystery of rising prices. It's not much of a mystery. Because, the China virus excuse was the excuse to shut down the country, the world, the economies, businesses. Communist shutdowns, I called it. China virus excuse, communist shutdowns. And I'm using that who could have predicted line. I stole it directly from the great White Rabbit Radio. You ever seen that cartoon, Anti-Racist Hitler? Who could have predicted the 1965 Immigration Act would result in America, would change America's demographics? I heard that one politician back then, like maybe it was a Kennedy, lied and said that it wouldn't change the demographics of America. Obviously it would. They just lie to us and we're supposed to believe it. It's like, and they have some strange rationalizing explanation for it. What a mystery. Who could have predicted that? Reminds me of the lying liberal criminologists who are like, oh, why is crime increasing? Must be the pandemic. Or it must be who knows what, multiple causation. Those liberal criminologists whom I heard about from Heather MacDonald, a former JLP guest, author of The War on Cops. And I know a lot of people are not fans of cops right now because they enforce liberal policies against Americans. But these criminologists are in utter denial of the Ferguson effect, something that Heather MacDonald, an honest journalist lady, writer, has talked about. She's been on Tucker Carlson's show, as well as the Jesse Lee Peterson show, not the Hake Report. How Black Lives Matter supporters in the government, among the voters, dumb voters, the establishment, increased violent crime, unchristian people. Supporting Black Lives Matter, dumb policies, increased the violent crime. More blacks dying thanks to Black Lives Matter. So it's worse, even physically speaking, than the KKK. Black Lives Matter, as well as spiritually. And I think they, I interrupted that guy about Hake frozen, just a little side note. I think they were talking about, Hake becomes like a deer in headlights when a caller has me hypnotized. And so like I'm frozen. Maybe that's what they meant. Like that. What a mess. That's what they say, but I think they might have been nicknaming Hake as Frozen. But anyway, I don't know. Could be. Who knows? Who knows? They were being nice. But anyway, back to this story. Back to this article. Let me tell you about this. I'll try to plow through it, guys. Everyone agrees inflation is happening. What they don't agree on is whodunit. This is the writer Stacey Vanek Smith for NPR. NPR. We should kick him out of the country. Deport NPR. The most recent numbers show prices up 7.7% over 2021, but for some items like eggs, health insurance, and gasoline, that's petrol for the British, or Europeans anyway, prices have been rising much faster than that. The main suspects differ across party lines. Yeah, because there are liars and there are people who are less lying. Yeah, we better close the door, I guess. I'm hearing a little bit of noise. Thanks, man. Yeah. No, the other guy was moving the chair. Many economists and politicians on the right say, and I'm saying it I should say it in a woman voice, but that would be too annoying. Inflation has been caused by government spending and various aid programs, stimulus checks, student debt forgiveness, Biden in the White House with the public purse. Interesting that they don't mention the overreaction to the China virus, shutdowns and all that mess. The main suspects differ across party lines. Many economists and politicians on the left point to the war in Ukraine, which it was happening before the so-called war in Ukraine, for pushing up oil prices, which it didn't have to. It's just the overreaction to the war, right? Because we're trying to punish Russia for no reason, in my opinion. Kevin Howe disagrees. And also greedy corporations, companies, many of which, despite tales of supply chain snarls, oh, those are just tales. Give me a break. And rising costs, those are actually true too. Remember the supply chain issue? Have been bringing in record profits. Well, of course they have. Corporate, anyway, as in any good mystery, yeah, mystery. Dumb liberal liar. Sorry, don't say dumb, kids. We look at our clues. In the case of corporate greed, there are a couple of rather compelling clues. Corporate profits, they've reached an all-time high this year. Well, corporations, huge corporations, are not the only people in the economy. Duh, and she'll get to it later. She'll contradict herself in talking about getting rid of the competition, which they're part of doing. The dumb commies with the shutting down stuff are the ones who killed the small and mid-sized businesses, the people who just You know, you can start your own business, but they make it harder for you to start your own business. Anyway. Corporate profits reached an all-time high this year. Many companies saw profits hit record highs. Rakeen, R-A-K-E-E-N, Mahmoud is a young lady, or lady anyway, and I may be using the term loosely, not sure. Chief economist for the progressive think tank, meaning far-left communist, Groundwork Collaborative. She states, companies are taking a spoonful of sugar off the backs of families who are already struggling to get by. Be quiet, woman. You're the reason for it. Or if you were supporting the shutdowns or any regulations on businesses, Trump was getting rid of regulations so businesses were thriving, including entrepreneurs, people who were starting their own businesses, independents. They don't like independence. Killing competition. There are 4 companies in the United States that control about 80% of the beef and poultry market. Meat companies have settled lawsuits over price fixing just this year, and a proposed merger between grocery giants Kroger and Albertsons has raised concerns it will mean higher prices for many consumers. And I say that's your fault, liberals, communists, liberal communists. You shut down the economy like women, overreacting, right? Oh, I'm afraid of the China virus. We need to close down. And impose unreasonable regulations on businesses. Minimum wage. Get rid of minimum wage, I say. Which helps corporations that you pretend to oppose. Helps them get rid of the competition. What's the alibi? Here's the alibi. Prices of raw materials have been rising all year. They've been rising at about the same rate as the prices we've been paying in the stores, according to this lady at NPR. Actually, a bit more. Wholesale prices, the cost of raw materials companies buy to make up the stuff that they sell to us, are up more than 8% over the last year, compared with consumer prices, which are up 7.7% over last year. Interesting, huh? And then so far this year, wages have seen an increase in 5%. But compared to prices, 7.7% increase. So the wages haven't kept up. We should get rid of the minimum wage. Maybe that'll help. University of Michigan economist Justin Wolfers suspects that the wages are only increasing that much because they're also negotiating not just for higher wages, the so-called workers. Many of them don't do much work. Some of you guys are listening to the Hake report, and you're able to do your work while listening to the Hake report. What type of work is that? But anyway, no offense. Keep listening to Hake. Negotiating, they're negotiating just not always for money. It could be for the ability to work remotely instead. Our collective savings, collective is a communist satanic buzzword, has been shrinking, though, and household debt has been on the rise. It's possible we're spending money we don't have, many people are, to keep up with rising prices. My business is called Killing Competition. Yeah, they called it Murdering Competition over here. So anyway, I just thought that was an interesting article and headline, and in spite of the dishonesty, it tells you a little bit of facts, and then they just muddy the waters with vagueness and overcomplication. And I don't know if they once mentioned the China virus in this thing, the overreaction to the China virus, but that was when the supply chain stuff and, getting rid of Trump. Trump was good for independent-minded people being independent, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, thank you for bearing with me through that. Let me get back to some calls. Frederick in California is on the line. Frederick, is your name spelled with a C at the end or a CK at the end?
CK.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. What's up? How you doing?
Can you hear me good?
I can hear you well.
Okay. All right, how you doing today, Hake?
Fine.
All right. I wanted to talk to you about that kosher certification I was telling you about. Did you know about that?
You were telling me about that, and I knew a little bit about it.
Okay.
Yeah, we had a men's forum one time where this guy who, all of a sudden, he learned about Jews and different things going on with them. And that was one of the things that he mentioned was this kosher thing, kosher tax, I think you called it.
Yeah, that's
And
what
so,
I called it.
So what's your point about it?
It's like for something to be kosher, it got to be produced in a manufacturing facility, right?
But I'm not asking the details. I'm asking what the point is about it.
It's just a tax that they put all over the world. Every country has to comply. They got to serve kosher food in every country, and it has to be made in their manufacturing companies, and they got to recertify every year, and they got to pay for this recertification out of thin air, or they gonna get 39 lashes. So they say in the Torah.
Literally 39 lashes?
And they put this cost amongst the
But what's your point about it?
They put this cost amongst the consumer. This is why food is high.
Oh, gosh. I mean, maybe you might be right. I don't know. And so are you bitter about that?
Now.
Are you bitter about that?
No, I'm not bitter about it. I just
so what's your point about it? What's your point?
I don't work. I'm retired already. You know
you
what I'm
are?
saying?
How old are you?
I'm 46.
And you're retired already. I thought that,
I
thought that this
Beverlywood.
man was in his 20s.
No, I live in Beverlywood, California.
As immature as... Because you come off so immature, but we have a...
y'all just think that when I'm playing my personality, I'm not FREDERICK today.
Okay,
I actually know some things.
46, and you're retired. How are you retired at 46? Don't ask. Don't answer that. Don't answer that. Don't tell your personal business.
I'm a veteran.
Oh.
Yeah, you can retire at 46 when you're a veteran.
Do people thank you for your service?
Did my people?
No, I'm asking, do people thank you for your service?
Oh yeah. They don't know that I'm a veteran unless, they usually ask.
Right.
I don't work. I do what I want to all day, and they be like,
But what's your
okay.
point? I think you kind of made a point, but what's your point about
Yeah, I
kosher thing?
did make a good point that should be a word and noticed.
But isn't that clever? Those clever kosher people.
Yes,
Are you? So you're not bitter. You're not bitter about that. Are you jealous? Are you saying that we should start something like that?
Yeah.
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 Oh.
Yeah.
Who's we?
That's what I'm saying.
I'm saying we, but
Or,
who's we?
Or stop it. The Christians. I'm with anything
You're a Christian?
that makes you be a better person.
You're a Christian?
No, I'm not a Christian.
Then
no,
why are
I'm
you
not a
saying that?
Christian,
Why are you
but I
telling the
support
Christians what to
Christians.
do? Why are you telling the Christians what to do about
Christians.
the so-called? I disavow that
I
language.
can see him
Jewish
hurting
problem.
right now. I can see him hurting and praying and doing a silent prayer. I can see him hurting. So I want to help him out.
Goodbye, Frederick.
What? What is the matter? Hey,
All you
what
ever
am
do
I
is
saying
call
that's
in
not-
and complain about Jesse. You're making references
No,
to
I'm not
JLP.
complaining.
Yeah,
I'm
you
talking
are.
about the
Yeah, you are.
truth
You're criticizing
right
JLP
now.
stuff. Go call JLP
No,
with your
I'm talking
immature
about
self.
Christians. I agree with Jesse when I'm just
No.
saying,
You called in twice now, complaining about these dummies do silent prayers, the same thing as this or that, or I don't even remember
But
what
he's
it was.
not my
But it's
topic today.
it's some lame
It was
point
the- it was
calling
the
Hake.
tax we started
I'm
on.
talking. I'm talking here. You be quiet. I'm the boss of this show. I'm the master.
Y'all like to feel like y'all in power, but y'all losing terribly.
Are you happy about that?
I have no concern. It's going to play out like God wants.
Are you happy about it?
No, I don't get happy.
Why do you sound gleeful when in mocking the Christians
Why
and the
did
whites for
Jesus
losing
look mad?
terribly?
Why
No,
did Jesus-
answer my
that's how
question
you
or I'm
took
hanging
it.
up. Answer my question or I'm hanging up. Why do you sound all gleeful saying y'all losing terribly?
That's how you perceived it. You change your perception. You
No.
change your
Answer the
feelings,
question.
you
Why
change
do you
your thought
sound gleeful?
I said that's how you perceived it.
So you're not
Somebody
gleeful?
else might not think
Answer
I sound
honestly.
gleeful.
You're not gleeful at the destruction of the whites and the Christians?
No, I'm not. No, that's
Okay.
not a true statement. No.
Thank you.
Don't hang up. Let me explain myself.
All right, go ahead.
All right. Now,
Please.
I said on plenty of times you have to get to the street, protest. Now they don't want to vote early. They got pride. They're gonna suffer their own consequences.
Who's they?
Of their own actions.
The people pushing the kosher stuff on us and
The
making money off
Republicans
of
crying
us,
about
lest we get 39 lashes for
in
not
the
complying.
voting system.
Oh,
You saying what?
Go ahead.
They can't change the voting system if they don't get out and vote early and take advantage of the way the laws are set up to vote. Election day is on election day, but if you don't utilize and swallow your pride and say, look, we're losing our freedoms because of our pride, then you're going to keep losing your freedoms. Or take to the street, protest, show a force like somebody cares, or they think nobody cares.
Nice. I appreciate your call, man. Call me again sometime. We'll talk.
All right, Hank.
All right.
I appreciate it, but all right. Well.
Adios. I hung up before I heard the click because I don't like hearing that click. Little chat over here on Rumble, rumble.com/The Hake Report. Somebody says, I've been to Willow Beach. Master P423 says, or 423. Yeah, indeed. I'm wearing a Willow Beach t-shirt. Willow Beach is on the Colorado River in Arizona. It's an hour outside of Vegas. I do recommend it. Although I looked at the temp over there, it was like 39 degrees or less. Or 32. And then in the heat of summer, it's like 110, 115, or maybe even higher sometimes. And even at the low point, it doesn't get below 90 sometimes, or even, what a mess. But in the more temperate times, it's nice. Although the water level of the Colorado River is low, and they say it's because of the drought. Oh, the terrible drought. But I say it's also partly because they're trying to make it low to make us hurt. It's my conspiracy theory. They being, you know who they are. Just like over in Big Bear, they let some part of Big Bear Lake, which is a man-made lake, did you know that, dry up. Why did they do it? To make us feel the pain of the drought. That's what I say. They could be building up the reservoirs here in California and the West, Arizona, Nevada. But no, they want to make us hurt. Thank you, Master P423. Double check for super chats. Okay, we get back to calls. Ben in Rhode Island on the line, a first-time caller. Ben, how are you doing, man?
Hey, nice to meet you. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah. Have you called my show before?
I have never called your show, but I've been watching it for a while, and also Jesse Lee Peterson, although I know you're different than that. It's really changed my life.
Wow, cool. Go ahead.
I wanted to offer you a little bit of pushback, and it seems like you're an open-minded guy. The pushback I'd like to offer is a lot of this stuff I know you're into the idea of being more manly and pushing back against this womanish kind of crybaby energy.
Yeah.
But I see a lot of elements where you kind of flip on that. And, for example, that Christian rock music seems to me very, very feminine. And I used to be Protestant, and it's the kind of music that turns masculine men away from Christianity. Also, this stuff about they and them, as if we're like, it sounds to me a lot like young men crying about their daddy. You know, they, the government, is us, right? I mean, we elect the government, and if it's not doing a good job, shouldn't we fix it?
Yeah. So you're saying when I say they're making the water levels go down to make us hurt and complain about the environment and believe in climate change stuff, that's me being womanly by saying the government when it's really us?
Yeah, well, I'm saying let's fix it. I mean, I think you can point things out, but it's on us to fix the things that are wrong. And also, like about the media, you're always saying, oh, the NPR, the New York Times. I'm not saying it's totally wrong to point that stuff out, but why not beat them? Why not say, like, we're gonna beat the people who are telling lies because we're going to tell truth, and our Father in heaven will help us to do that. Why not have that confidence?
Beat them how?
by out-competing them, by doing a better job, by doing a better job in the media, like you're doing. I'm saying you're doing it, but why have this kind of this victimhood? I sense there's a kind of victim mentality, like we're all in a kind of men's support group that's saying, like, yeah, they do us wrong. Daddy does us wrong. All the big, you hear. I love you push back against this thing of they being, our Hebrew brothers, but there's a kind. I find on the right there's this kind of victim mentality.
For sure.
Conspiracy theories also. Things
Defeatist, the media, the government, or the Jews, or the blacks, or whatever.
Yeah.
The academia.
Yeah, you're the media, right? Aren't you the media too?
Yeah, I am the free press. We the people on the social media are the media. We are the free press. Yeah. I think I agree with some of that. The Christian music, in my defense, that's just Christian music from my childhood. I don't see that as, I see it as emotional and stuff like that. And in that sense, it's feminine, but I still like it. And it's just something that I want to share. So I don't take it that seriously. And you think
I understand. I'm not, but I remember I used to teach at a Catholic boys' school. I'm Catholic.
You're Catholic now. You grew up Protestant and now you're Catholic.
Yeah, that's right. I joined the true church. Yeah, the traditional masculine church, which has become feminine.
Yeah, well, they're all into Mary and all that stuff. When and why?
Is masculine. Marianism is masculine. Our Lady has traditionally throughout. Read some history. She's been the leader of men. Mary was a great woman.
When and why did you turn Catholic? In short, the one or two line.
Yeah,
thing.
well, because Protestantism is false. It's clearly, patently false. The Bible came from the church, so you can't worship the Bible. You gotta be part of the church that created the Bible.
The Bible came from the Catholic Church, meaning is what you're saying. The Catholic being
right,
kind of making
the one
redundant.
holy Catholic and Apostolic Church. Yeah.
And
Jesus
so
founded the church. He didn't found the Bible.
Your criticism is the Protestants worship the Bible and reject the Catholic Church.
Yeah. Well, Martin Luther was a baby. He was crying about, his father. He was a womanish man who, didn't want to have to listen to authority, just like rebellious women.
Interesting. And many women,
fake way to do that.
Many women do, like some of their complaints, they have some factual basis or valid complaints, but their spirit's wrong. And so you may be right. Who knows about how, because I've heard some legitimate complaints that the Protestants had about the church, about, bribery for getting rid of sins and stuff like that. But there was some corruption in the church, but they threw out the baby with the bathwater is what you're saying?
Yeah, those are lies that, there is corruption, of course.
Yeah.
What kind of a person is going to say that every Catholic is perfect and every priest is perfect? I mean, we know that's not true, but those are mostly lies. And Martin Luther was a revolutionary, and he was a horrible moral figure, and he broke Europe.
When was this that you switched from Protestant to Catholic? From Christian to Catholic?
In my late college years, and then I formally a couple of years after I became after I graduated from college.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying Catholicism doesn't have problems like on the ground. I think I was going to say
no. I think that there are some
same awful music in the Catholic school I used to teach at.
Oh, really? That Christian sounding music among Catholics?
Well, it's not Christian sounding to me. It's
right. I know. I call it Christian music. That's what I mean by
it. Well, it was always, I would watch these four young men, and then, the gay kid would get up, and he's a nice kid and everything, and he sings well.
In the choir.
But it would turn all the real men off, because they're saying, this doesn't sound right to me. This doesn't sound like what I like to hear, masculine things about.
Do you like any music?
I like chant, the traditional, music of the church.
And how about, as far as secular music goes, do you like any music?
I love lots of different kinds of music, but I wouldn't say anything in particular. I like music that sounds true and beautiful.
Okay.
But I don't like stuff when you label it, quote, Christian.
Right.
think, you
Yeah,
know,
but
that
I just call it Christian
really-
music for short. I'm not thinking that the music itself is Christian or makes a person more Christian. How
I
old
think
are you, if
I
you don't
think
mind my asking, Ben, in
Sure,
Rhode
yes.
Island?
I'm 50 years old, half a century of unmitigated success.
Nice, man. It's great to hear
Yeah.
from you. Let's talk more.
Yeah.
We're running short on time. But
Oh, no,
I
yeah,
love this call, and I want to talk more about these
Oh,
different issues that
thanks
you've
for taking
raised.
the pushback. I know a lot of people ban me immediately from their channel.
Oh,
So I
really?
appreciate it.
You're one of
Yeah.
those annoying guys.
They call me a troll if I ask a question. You know,
Oh.
if I give any pushback at all, they call me a troll. I've been banned on every platform.
And you're white.
I'm not allowed near a lot of platforms.
Are you
I don't know
white
why.
or Jewish in blood, or what are you?
A lot of people think I'm Jewish, and
Because your
make
name
a
is
lot of
Ben,
conspiracy
like
theories about
Benjamin, tribe of Benjamin.
Yeah, Benjamin, son of the right hand, son of strength. I love
Right.
that name.
It's a cool
It's a
name.
Jewish name.
He was
Yeah.
the favorite brother of Joseph, right? Joseph's only
He was
full-blood
the-
brother, right? One of them?
He was the favorite of, I believe, Israel. After Joseph was lost, he was the one.
He was the new favorite.
Benjamin wanted to keep. Joseph wanted to keep close at hand. Yeah.
Sons of Rachel, right? Rachel was the one he liked, not Leah.
Yes, I think that's right. He was the favorite son.
But you're not Jewish by blood?
Well, I'm not exactly sure, but it's interesting because I've been on the YouTube, I stream, and a lot of people have made all of these assumptions because I had a beard, and you know, they call me Spielberg. They said I was in Hollywood.
Right.
This anti-Semitism stuff is just ugly and gross.
But that's not
I
a real
love Jewish
thing
people.
either. But people get ugly and gross, and angry people, like they're dumb. They turn dumb.
Yeah.
Even if they're smart, they turn dumb. It's really
Well,
interesting.
You know, I stream with my daughter. She's a beautiful 20-year-old young woman, and I tell people that and I say thank God that she's a beautiful young woman, and if young men want to come to my channel to look at her and see this gift of God of a young woman.
Are you
but
sure
they
you're not
immediately
Jewish?
start saying I was sexualizing her and that we're engaged in immoral sexualizing. It's crazy. People
People
that's
aren't
normal.
People go to vulgar speculation real fast. That's partly why you should be more careful online, honestly, especially with your daughter, man. You
No, I
want to
don't think we
protect
should
her,
be careful online.
even though
It's
she is an
unmasculine
adult
to
herself.
Be careful online. You know what I mean?
Anyway, man, it's good to hear from you, Ben. So you don't
Yeah, I
know
hope
you don't
we can
know
talk
what
again.
you are. You don't know if you're Scottish or Danish or Irish or
my
part black.
ethnicity is 3/4 Norwegian, 1/4 English. But my father told me I had a Jewish ancestor. But
Okay.
you know, I'd love to think that was true. I don't think I think it's a badge of honor to be one of the people who God worked with at the very beginning to have this heritage.
Well, I too may be from a tribe because I feel like I think that I remember that my dad told us that that doctors found American Indian blood in my grandpa. And then so we started marching around and going, hi, dancing in a circle. Hi, and that may not be an Israelite tribe. The Black Hebrew Israelites think that that's an Israelite tribe, the American
Yeah, they're
Indians.
crazy. They're crazy.
So, I too am perhaps from a tribe, just like Pocahontas, Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah, our roots are interesting. They're fascinating. God loves all different people.
Right.
And there's not any demographic he likes more than any other, but except for the Jews. I think he has a special place in his heart for them, even though they're rebellious.
Right.
But, you know, that's what it is to be close to God, right? You're going to have a lot of rebellion, but also a lot of great. That's all of us. That's not unique to the Jewish people.
Right. Well, take care, Ben, in Rhode Island. Good to hear from you. Take care.
Yeah.
Adios.
Nice talking. God bless.
All right. Interesting call, was that not? Learn something new every day. Shout out, got your six. Strange talk for a father. Never mind, forget it. He's Catholic, says got your six. Hake's grandpa is Chief Nakahoma. Don't make it sound Japanese. One of my best friends growing up was Japanese, and I learned about World War II and how the Japanese were our enemies. And so I looked over at him in class in like 4th grade, 2nd grade or whatever, and I was like, ooh, we're going to get you. He was, anyway, You know. Imaginary person says the Bible came from men. Yes, indeed. You know, we're at 5 minutes till the top of the hour here, and I have calls that I want to get to, but I don't know if I have time. And plus, I have music to get to, that girly Christian music that makes the Protestant men so effeminate, turns them into promise keepers men. Shout out to the 90s. And apologizing to the blacks for slavery for no reason. Pathetic. It makes me so angry. But let me check for super chats. Callers, I cannot get to you. Brian in North Carolina wanted to talk about flat Earth. He's unsure of himself. Paul in Florida, man, I want to get to you too, but I cannot today, I don't think. Wanted to talk about flat Earth and Kansas University studies on this. Bree, a first-time caller in Tennessee, and the rest of the callers, you got to call tomorrow. Hopefully I'll be live tomorrow on a Friday. But now is for time for music. Petra prays, the rock cries out. So good. Salvation belongs to our God, our Lord. Bye.
To our God, who sits upon the throne, and unto the Lamb